get them into something or get involved in what they love to do, it's a whole different world. That was powerful. Because that's, we are creation. We're supposed to be creating. The earth is trying to create right now. The earth is trying to grow, and we're all going through this, and it feels uncomfortable, right? So thank you for that. That was powerful, man. That last part got chilled. Like, great. Okay, so let's learn and grow daily. All right, so learn and grow daily. What you see, what you hear, who you surround yourself with. You guys hear Kevin and I talked about this on the lives all the time. So learn and grow daily is so important. Okay, so how do you stay in this high vibrational frequency? Like I shared with you guys a couple weeks ago, I just completely had a meltdown, complete meltdown, and that's okay. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, so that what you see, what you hear, and who you're around is so important. So that goes into social media, that goes into what you're listening to daily, what type of music you're listening to. So I do listen to low vibration music when I train. That's the only time I listen to low vibration music. I do like rap music. I grew up with rap music, so I listen to very low vibration rap music while I train. That's it. After that, maybe sometimes just bumping in the car, but usually I'm listening to motivation type stuff. Social media is really important to me. I always say I can predict someone's future by looking at their debit card transactions, their social media feed, and who they surround themselves. I can predict their future in 5 years. Like, I'm clairvoyant. I can just, I can come on, get in front of my crystal ball, give me your cell phone, give me your debit card transactions, and I'll show you where you're going to be. Because where your money goes, who your friends are, and what you're seeing is going to control your thoughts, which controls your vibration, which is going to control what you attract. And they're real simple shifts. And I don't know if you want to dive into that. I know that's...
Yeah, no, that was something that I decided to silence. Again, I love diving into just life. I really, really, really love life. And those are just little different rabbit holes that you can go into by testing out how that affects you. It's like, okay, let me just not watch TV at all for the next month and see what that does. You're only going to pull at yourself and be like, I want to catch my show, or I want to watch this. And people are going to be like, did you see that new? And you have the opportunity to respond to that and either do it or take decisive action and be like, no, I want to see this through. I want to see what's going to happen. We was just having a conversation about what I was eating. I'm like, vegan? I'm trying to go vegan, but I'm just trying to see what it's doing for me. I just stopped eating meat because I was like, I want to see what it does for my particular body. Now what? I had some fish yesterday. It's like, it's a balance. It's what you're deciding to do to see what the effects actually are for yourself. That's why he say, don't believe a word I say, and don't just follow me for no reason. It's because he keeps saying, do your own research. That's with everything in life. All of that stuff. So what are you seeing? Is it really affecting you? Is it not? You can think, oh, it's not affecting me. Well, test it out. Test it out. See what's going on. What you're listening to. Let me stop listening to this music and see what happens. Let me change it. Let me listen to classical all day. Let me see what happens. Probably at first you'll be pretty irritated. My personal experience, I started doing that and I was like, what am I doing, man? What is the deal? But then all of a sudden I started enjoying it. After a while I was like, this actually makes me feel great. What does that mean? Why do I feel different now? There aren't any directive lyrics. There aren't any repeated mantras saying, young, dumb, and broke, young, dumb. It's like, think about that though. You listen to that over and over and over again. Isn't that the same as affirmations? Saying, you might as well go in the mirror and be like, yo, I'm young, dumb, and broke. I'm young, dumb, and broke. Okay, let's go. And then you go out to the world and you wonder why things are happening wrong. It's like, how do I change this? What's going on? What am I doing? What am I seeing? What am I hearing? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say upon that, these days it's extremely difficult to decipher the truth. Like, we're all truth seekers as humans.
Yes.
And
not all of them, some. There's other people out there who believe this environment is actually real. So,
right.
Some of us.
And what I'm saying upon that is I'm trying to find the truth.
Yes.
But when I go down some of these rabbit holes, I feel like I'm lowering my vibrational energy so that's the tough part, because I'm a truth seeker, but when I go down these rabbit holes, it's like,
okay, so let's unpack this. This is powerful. So I'll take it to a personal experience, right? So So when I started the YouTube and the XRP videos and stuff like that, and I'm not trying to get into politics, but I was leaning towards Trump's beliefs a little bit more. I'm just gonna say that, okay? I'm not against Biden. I was just like, okay, I believe in some more stuff, the tax laws, things like that. We all have different beliefs in here too. And I was like, and I started going down this rabbit hole. Trump's gonna say it. Trump's coming back. Trump's doing, and my vibration kept getting lower and lower. And this isn't about Trump being bad or Biden being bad, but I was going, oh, guess what, guys? You know, they're at the border of Canada and they're about to raid us. And I'm like, coming in here. I brought fucking water bottles in here for us. And I'm like, Kev, we gotta build these things up. Kev's like, shut up, dude. And I'm like, the world's gonna end. I was getting deep into it. My exes were pulling at me, dude. They were like, coronavirus, the world's gonna end. I was preparing for the end of the world. And I kept getting lower in vibration and lower. And guess what? All the conversations started changing in here. We're talking about how bad the world is. And so what I realized is, I'm like, whoa, this is powerful. I was like, so that's not my truth. That can't be my truth because it doesn't feel good. It didn't feel right. So I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna, that doesn't make sense. I'm following someone else's narrative. And so I was like, it's not that these people were wrong or the Biden people were wrong. I was like, okay, no, you can see the change in my YouTube. I was like, no, it's not left or right. I'm the president and CEO of my life and we're going to beta test everything. We're going to do the things that make us feel good. We're going to listen to the music that makes us feel good. We're going to find relationships that make us feel good. And we started sciencing our life and becoming the president and CEO, the president of our lives. And we're like, no, this music makes me feel good. This food makes me feel good. You know, okay, we don't focus on anything else but improving ourselves. And it's remarkable. So there's no rabbit hole we have to go down. We are the rabbit hole now. It's like, wow, people are going to start going down the rabbit hole to find us. And there's people saying people are saying we're doing nefarious things. It's wild. I'm like, we're part of the rabbit hole now. This is cool. Like people say that I've heard that I'm a cult leader. I've heard that I'm leading people towards demonic stuff. And I'm like, okay. The Illuminati, I've been told I'm in the Illuminati. There's a picture of me going around, like it has me like I do gestures. There's a picture on the internet going around me like this. Coach JV's in the Illuminati. I'm like, and then I got a funny story about that. But my family was in the Freemasons right, but Freemasons is totally different than Illuminati. Freemasons was a group of business people way back in the days that got together and they were trying to. Anyway, so I have the Freemason ring. And my daughter took a picture and put it on Snapchat, and then that picture is floating around, and all the kids at her school think I'm in the Illuminati. So it's pretty powerful. Nobody wants to date my daughter. So. I'm not the Illuminati, just so you guys know. But does that help? Because it's like, because if the rabbit hole is making you feel sick, then it's probably not the right rabbit hole, because it's not aligned with you, right? And so I think, I'm knowing so let's get into this. This is what they're working to do, and this goes way back in time. I'm sorry, Jeremy, it goes way back in time where we used to look in the water. There's no mirrors. We used to coach. The reflection was our coaching. That was our teacher. We used to look in the mirror, and that was our teacher. And at some point, my belief system, at some point, somebody goes, wait a minute, get that person looking in the water to look at me. Like, come here, look at me. I'm actually the answer. I have all the answers for you. And at some point, somebody said, oh, Kev, he's the Messiah. Like, that's who I need to go to. Kev he's the conduit to the higher self, whatever that is. And so now I start believing Kev, and then at some point, somebody in that position goes, I can get them to believe everything I say. So pull them so far out of themselves and get them to focus over here, and all of a sudden, what do you gain when you do that? Power and control. And all of a sudden, I have control over you now. So everybody look over here, everybody look over here, and everybody's looking for the answer now. And the trick is to get back to self. That's what the Buddhism, Jesus, I think all religions are seeking. You're trying to get back to self. I think they're all great. I think they all have a good what is called good agenda. That's I think to get you to your higher self. Some people go to church, they feel the Holy Spirit. Some people, me, it's like, the chills. We talk about chills, confirmation. And so at some point, I believe what's happening with our world, and they're like, okay, we got it. That's why we keep saying 1% of the population owns that, because they're like, all I got to do is get JV to go down this rabbit hole and get him to go, all these people and go this way. And they're like, watch these guys, look at them, there they go. And then they're running over here, and let's make them go this way. Oh, so now it's not blacks against white. Let's do masked against unmasked. Yes, there we go. Let's go maskers against unmasked. And they're like, they don't really realize it doesn't matter. Like if someone wants to wear a mask, and that's, so what's happening now is we're all just fighting against human beings. We're just fighting against human beings and lowering our vibration, and lowering our vibration, lowering our vibration as whatever the nefarious people, I don't know what they're doing. It's just how life works now. And so I think what's happening is our world is going through an awakening, and people are starting to awaken to go, I do have a choice. I can be sovereign. I can make my own decisions. I can be. And so like the answer for me was, experiencing that was like, okay, I'm not going to focus on anybody else's truth. I'm going to listen to your truth, but if it doesn't align with me, you're not going to be in my paradigm. I can't do that. So does that help a little bit?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's awesome.
I forgot. Oh,
sorry.
So I forgot what the first thing I was going to say. But to the point about what you were talking about now, it's the being pulling people apart and deciding. I don't really think that that's anything new. It's always been here.
Yeah.
It's just we see it all more now.
Yeah.
So it's just more apparent to us. But instead of looking at it and saying, well, this is obviously what's happening. People are pulling us apart. We're like diving into it because of the way that we consume content. And so it's always been here. We just see it all more now. And now we're like, okay, well, what do we do now that we see it? Well, we pick a side, and then we go for that side rather than trying to have good, strong conversations with each other and work together for something. It's always about picking side after side.
I think so. I think if you understand warfare, the general goal of warfare is to just divide before you can conquer.
100%.
And so, as opposed to picking a side, what I've chosen to do is just take myself out of the equation altogether.
Right.
There is no side to divide me from.
Right.
So whatever happens that's like, I don't give a shit what's on the news. It doesn't affect my world. I don't allow myself to get consumed in that. Like I listen to YouTube in the morning when I'm getting ready and have my coffee, and like at some point in time I clicked on a Fox video, I think, because now I'm getting like retargeted with Fox videos that are like, Biden's out and Trump's in. Like that's what this morning. That's what that video said, and I was like, and then I was like, oh, that's interesting. So of course I listened to it.
Sure.
Total clickbaited, and I'm like, and then like I'm literally like less than 2 minutes in, and I'm like, okay, this is like, this makes no sense. Like, and I'm not, I've met Trump. I've been Mar-a-Lago. I don't. All politicians are for themselves, and when you realize that, you get further ahead. But it's why even exhaust yourself with picking a side, because you're picking a losing battle.
Yes.
Regardless of what you agree to, like, and I come from an area where, like, the only place we wear a mask is Costco, and that's because they won't let us in if we don't. Like, it just doesn't.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think that's the biggest thing. There was a thing at Costco, and there's nothing wrong with this. Like, this was a TikTok that was going on. The guy was standing up on the thing, and he's like yelling at everybody about their mask, and I'm like, that's okay. Like, if that's what he wants to do, I mean, I'm sure his probably life is very, very stressful. I'm sure he walked home, told his whole family about it, and was like, guess what I did? And everybody's just like, and it's like, it's okay though. That's what he wants. That's his paradigm, right?
Go round and round and round and round and round, and it's worth it. It's worth it to go round and round. And just sitting here thinking that I could, Trump, Biden, kevinanytime, JV, the friends here. It's all serves a purpose, but at the end of the day, unless I get my shit together, unless I get my shit together. It goes along the line of this comment I had with you where I was feeling guilty walking in here because I knew deep down I wasn't getting my shit together. Deep down I wasn't getting my shit, I wasn't living up to it. So I mean, yes, I can sort of try and ride your coattails to the end of the world because you're a winner. And I know it goes deeper because I love you, and we're friends. But until I get my shit together, whether it's freaking Biden or Trump or freaking President Nixon or going off the gold standard or freaking that douchebag who freaking runs the world, on my forum, all that kind of stuff, whether until I get my shit together. And I'm not trying to sort of, make this the be-all end-all speech, but I mean, it's just something I'm sitting here going until I get my shit together.
How you could sum it up with that. I mean, that's why I started saying that instinctively. Get your shit, and that's why people aren't getting offended by what I'm saying. People are not getting offended by me saying get your shit together. Nobody's reporting me for saying that because I genuinely am like, I'm saying to myself, get your shit together, Jerry. I'm not saying it to you guys. I'm saying I mess up a lot. Like I'm like, get my shit together, get my shit together, and that's what it's all about. Because when you do, if you really want power and freedom, get your shit together. Good stuff. Okay, so let's go into victory. Okay, great conversation, by the way. And thank you for everybody supporting these conversations and being open to that, because I think that's where growth happens, uncomfortable conversations that may make you think a little bit. So no matter, this is really important. So this is something that I've always lived by, is victory, right? You want to celebrate small victories. You definitely do. I mean, gosh, maybe you quit smoking, celebrate, go out to dinner. You need to get those dopamine responses in small celebration. There's a risk to celebration though. It happens a lot with pro athletes, and I use pro athletes in this example, right? So someone's a Pop Warner football player. They work really hard to get all the way into the NFL, and as soon as they're just working, so as soon as they get that NFL contract, what happens? They stop working as hard as they did to get into the NFL. And so they go into a celebration phase, and that happens to a lot of the athletes, is they fall off and they stop putting the work in, they stop practicing in the summertime, they get injured because they're staying in victory for too long. And I always look at victory as a temporary thing. But what I've learned to do is fall in love with the journey. I just fall in love with the journey. I'm like, okay, so yeah, we're launching a new company on the 27th. It's like, okay, that's exciting, but what's next? What are we gonna do next? And it's about creation for me. I realize that if I'm creating, I'm always growing. So I just wanted to put that, celebrate. Definitely celebrate though. You gotta celebrate those little tiny wins. All right, this will be fun. So what we would like, if we, oh please George.
Just real quick, JB. So I'm so big at this right now, and it goes to that. So like, I'm in this amazing part of my life right now, right? Stuff is coming to me, jobs, relationships, stuff I wasn't even looking for that's amazing is coming to me right now. So I'm celebrating, right? But here's the other thing where I've been the last couple months. When you're celebrating, when you're on a high, examine yourself really hard then, because one, you're in a good place to do it. Two, you see flaws about yourself that you forgot about. And so when life is good, celebrate real quick, like you just said, but freaking examine yourself hard then, because when life is hard, it's hard to do that. You're just trying to survive, right? Yes. I'm not in survival mode right now, I'm thriving. So I'm like, okay, oh my gosh, George, fix that.
Yes.
So go